not be on camera. That's your prerogative, of course, but it's always so beneficial for everyone else when we can see each other. And I think that's one of the things that we're challenged with right now is there's so much going on, and so many people are just overwhelmed with not only what is going on in the outside world, but we're all having to adjust our lives to a great extent because so much has changed. So I think people are, it's taking more time to do things, it's taking more energy to do things. And then on top of that, we have the outside world really pulling on us or sitting on us or whatever else. And I'd like to know, if you guys want to take just like no more than 2 minutes, because I really want to bring us into the energetics that have been building all day and creating this container. If you'd just like to share like what it is that you're, maybe in a couple words, what it is that you're really experiencing or feeling, and what called you to this tonight. Whoever would like to go first.
Well, uh, well, I try to keep my frequency up. And I know there's all kinds of stuff happening out there, but I don't watch the news, so I figure maybe I know there's new stuff going on, so maybe I tune in and hear and not to the news. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Well,
Well,
so
I'll go
good.
next. Or do you want to go?
Oh,
No,
go
no,
ahead,
no,
Bill.
that was me responding. Go ahead, Bill.
I just, I don't know. I'm upset about, I guess, all that's going on today. I mean, the world is, we're in a chaotic place right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I too am trying to, I don't know, it's hard. You don't want to focus on the news, but you also need to be aware.
Absolutely. So one of the things, and I'm going to be starting back, I have particular courses going on. I'm going to open up more groups for that. One is Healing the Healer, because healers are taking a lot of this on and in, or else shutting down. And then also a creation group, because it feels like everything is happening to us. And yet, what I've been teaching and when I work with clients, it's how do you take that and feel into the very, very personal piece of that. In other words, there's a reflection in each of us of what's going on outside in a way that you may not um, have seen quite before. And then how do you then turn that around? Like, what is it that comes out of that? Because at this moment it looks like we're all going to hell in a handbasket. But we are old expression. But there is such a lot of change happening, and as hard as it is to believe, the horrible is serving such a perfect purpose, and that there is maybe, if you want to say, opposite end of the spectrums responses to that, like for example, the gas prices, and people are reconsidering how they're using their cars, and the amount of the purchase, the quantity of cars, electric cars being purchased, is through the roof in many, many, many countries. So it's kind of like that's the boomerang. It's the opposite is happening versus those that are pushing and emphasizing fossil fuels and this old way, but it's causing more of a move to renewables, not just with the electric cars, but the other day I read Australia is producing so much solar electricity from solar, that everyone in the country, every person in the country gets 3 hours of free electricity every day.
Oh my.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
In many countries in Europe over the past year, year and a half or more, they are having to create new infrastructure because their renewables are blowing the transformers or whatever they're called. They cannot handle the amount of electricity that's being produced. So multiple countries are having free electricity, like
Jeez.
literally free electricity.
Wow.
So this is why it's really, really important to stay informed, not only of what the bad things are, but all of the wonderful things. I don't listen to news either, Elaine, but what I do is I receive articles
Mhm.
from from still journalism,
Mhm.
papers, Associated Press, Reuters, BBC, The Guardian, Al Jazeera, many different from around the world. So we're not hearing and being fed this one channel of information.
Mhm.
So I would really encourage you to do so. And that doesn't mean you have to read the whole article. It's oftentimes just the title and the first paragraph will give you the idea. And if you want more information, just keep going. Whether it's that or agronomy, I also get a lot of literature from different science disciplines and sustainable farming and oil journals, like the oil paper that's writing for the fossil fuel company, and those that are writing for the farmers, etc. AgWeb is one of them. And so these are the actual people rather than the story or the narrative that
Mhm.
is being
Right.
channeled through very, very controlled sources at this point.
Yes.
So that's a really good idea. And every single day, I see so many advances scientifically, technologically, engineering wise. It's just, it's really a boom. There is solution to everything that we have as a problem right now.
Yes. A lot of good things are happening also, right?
A
And
lot of good
and all of
things.
this is going to come to light, all this stuff eventually. Not right now.
As which are you referring to that's going to come to light? What did you
Um,
mean? I'm sorry.
what is going on? What is really going on? It's all going to thousands of years, we've been like programmed. Um, so, I don't want to get too, you know, far out, but
Yeah.
yeah, so
No, it is
it's
true.
all going to come to light and we're going to evolve into another dimension, like we've been in the third dimension of consciousness, another dimension of consciousness. Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
right now, a lot of stuff is happening and will
Right.
for a while. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think, what always what I feel so strongly are people still under the same experience and sensation as we have been for thousands of years that we actually cannot do anything about it. That
Right.
those that in power have all the power and we are just peons as
Hmm.
we have been throughout history, and we don't have any ability or any power. And
Yes.
gathering together like this or finding out, Elaine, I find that that is insanely powerful. Is
Hmm.
when I post things about what's going on in the world other than or besides the destructive aspects, it just, people are like, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, and it shifts us.
Oh,
So
yeah.
anytime that, I would encourage all of you to really look into some of those sources or other sources. Physics.org, they have biology, et cetera, et cetera. I'm also connected into a lot of the astronomy journals as well. So there are beautiful things going on. And when you know it and you pass that information in one way or another, either verbally or on social media or what have you,
Hmm.
then it shifts us, not just by giving us good news, but also something to um, hold on to or continue to desire or to know that it's going on and to support it in some way
Mhm.
besides spreading the word, you
Yes.
know? So it's that in itself is super, super powerful. I find so many people are kind of protecting themselves and wanting to stay in a high frequency bubble, and that is actually as detrimental as any of the destruction.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying a lot of
Right, right.
people are,
I see
especially those in the spiritual.
plenty of posts about what's going on, but like today, it was just vague, not total. So, yeah.
So good. Thank you. And Eileen, do you have anything to share about what's kind of your state of being and what brought you to join us this evening?
Well, unfortunately, I do watch the news and I do listen to political talk radio, not as much as I used to. I cut it all out for a while, and then I just started bit by bit. I have a couple favorite people I listen to, and it's heartbreaking. The tragedies with ICE is just beyond comprehension.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just feel like what I do. I'm trying to do a little bit what I can, so I don't feel totally like I'm not doing anything. But it wears on your soul.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm going to probably be doing these pretty regularly. I was doing a weekly Friday talk and deep dive, but it's in the middle of the day. So I'm going to be trying to do some more in the evening so more people can participate. And we are going to be dropping into a very deep energetic state in a few minutes. But I wanted to, bring us all in here and start to, as someone is speaking and sharing, they're really, kind of beginning to cohese with the other people in here. That doesn't mean merge and mesh with them, but it means just connecting and interweaving what you're feeling and what you're experiencing and your energy field with the container that's already been built and all of the helpers that are already here, which I will name in a little bit, many of them. Um, and I do want to get very specific at a later point. I'm going to invite everyone, so, kind of bring it to your awareness of anyone that is, needing some healing support, anyone who's going through a very deep financial challenge or any other challenges that you just really have felt in your heart. And we're just going to be dropping their names in a little bit. So be thinking about that. And also some of the, I will name them attacks that have been going on this week, whether it is to, Chaco Canyon and Bears Ears and Escalante, which are just, if anybody's been out west, they're incredibly breathtaking and unique landscapes of Earth. Um, and they were released to mining companies and to drilling companies in the past couple of days. And the windows, there used to be very long when there was a proposal for anything done, especially to public lands. There was a window of months for the public and any groups involved. In this case, let's say, Native American tribes, or maybe it's environmental groups or what have you, leaving that wide uh, range of time for people to put their opinions in, to let the decision makers know what it is that the people want. And those
Mm.
windows have been shrunk that were, let's say they were 6 months, 8 months, even a year in some cases. And for this particular issue, there's a couple of weeks. So to, speak to your point, Eileen and Elaine, that getting on 5 calls and letting not only your own representatives, but anyone else that has an interest, or calling up the groups, that not just the environmental groups, but those like all of the tourism companies around those areas, they are going to be affected. And so, just writing a note or calling them and, speaking to customer service saying, hey, do you know how this is going to affect your business? I encourage you to stand up and speak out. And it's as simple and quick and easy as that. So, again, that allows us to feel like we have a say, that we have power to be able to do something. Also, that the companies that are receiving or may not be receiving our dollars makes a huge difference. Are any of you familiar with Alt National Park Service? Okay. So this is a group that I have been, Eileen, you are, right?
No, I don't
Oh
think
my
so.
God. I can't believe I hadn't shared that with you. So Alt National Park are national park workers who, since 2016, they are on the inside, and now it includes a lot more than national park workers. These are government workers that are still in place. They are still in their positions, they're still in jobs, and they report what is actually going on inside. In other words, this is now, becoming a law. This is a new edict. This is a new executive order. And they have a Facebook page. I'm sure they may have Instagram as well, but I'm not familiar. I watch them there or read them there. And you can just look up ALT National Park. Thank you, Bill, for turning off that light. And they're literally, when they post something that is actually going on, this isn't gossip, it isn't opinion, it is facts. This is what's being changed. This is what's being removed from our government. They were doing so all the time that Doge was doing its thing and monitoring everything. They've been monitoring since 2016, like I said, and I've been following them because it later, the let's call them the more a little bit alternate news or news that isn't broadcast news gets the information and they bring it forward. And then finally it goes through broadcast news. So oftentimes I will see something on Alt National Park of a change that's being made, and it's like 3, 4, 5 days before it gets out into the public.
Oh, okay.
And they have nothing to gain. There's nothing, there's no nastiness. They keep it, it's any responses, they keep it very, very clean and beautiful. And what they did, the reason why I bring them forward was a couple of months ago, several months ago, there was again another attack on public lands, and they listed a lot of like REI, clothing makers, equipment, hiking equipment makers, camping equipment makers, all this very long list of companies and corporations that benefit from and whose business is actually based in outdoors activities or outdoor activities. And so Alt National Park let people know about the attempted selling off or whatever it was of public lands and listed these companies.
Yeah.
They had such a deluge, these companies, of people emailing them, calling them, saying, you've got to speak up. This is what's going on. And many, 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 many of the companies did. Because people said, well, I'm not going to buy from you any longer if you don't say something, if you don't do something. So this is another way that's very, very powerful. And Eileen, remind me of this later, that I wanted to bring this to Indivisible. And if you aren't connected to, in our area, it's Cooper River Indivisible, and that's many different townships around. It's not just the areas or the towns around Cooper River. It attracts people from all of South Jersey. And their website also is constantly updating as to where there's a protest, what you can boycott, what the different committees are doing. So Elaine, please, reach out to me and I'll connect you, because there's an immigration committee
Mhm.
that is actually either there's a group that goes to the spot when they hear about ICE. There's also within the immigration committee, they collect food and household items constantly for people who aren't able to go out of their house um, because of the threats.
Mhm.
There is a public policy or democracy committee, and they're monitoring what's going on and, taking steps in that way. There's an LGBTQ plus committee, and they're watching the laws and the attacks being made in different countries, I mean, different states. And actually, again, steps that can be taken, not just commiserating with everyone, with each other. So there's about 12 different committees. And you don't have to do anything. You do what you're called to do. There's an arts, what is it? An arts and crafts committee, and they make, those big, huge puppets for the rallies. They do all kinds of things. So anything that in the old vernacular floats your boat, or that you're attracted to, or that you're interested in. And this is a very local means of getting feet on the ground, hands in the dirt, so to speak. So please let people know. Elaine, I will send you the link. They
Yeah.
come out with an email every week of what's going on, what
Mhm.
any, steps are being made. And if you're on the individual committees, like again, there's another one that's the
Can you send me
local.
that link too?
All right, sweetie, but send me something so I can just shoot it to you, either email or on DM, if you would. And then I can just link you in there. Um, and that committee, which one was I mentioning? I'm sorry, what I just lost my
Sorry,
train of
that
thought.
was me.
The
This week,
there's a
this week we were
there's
talking about the election committee to getting
right, the
people to
election committee,
vote,
but
getting the
yes,
vote out.
getting the vote. Oh yes, thank you for reminding. Is the many ways that we can get out the vote, and not just telling people go vote, but actually going to places with a group and registering them, going door to door and making sure that everybody rechecks their registry, because things can happen. Um, Driving people to the polls, getting people that want to go early, working at the polls, either as a poll worker or a monitor. There's so many things. And I think that's huge in this overwhelm that we're feeling. So many things are coming at once. Um, and yet, when you take an action, I won't remember the quote, but um, I'll try to find it and post it for you. But there was a quote from one of the great spiritual philosophers, or great minds, and it said that the best answer to grief is action. And I think the best answer to pain or sorrow or anger at what's going on is action. And we're all in our own little spaces, oh, what can I do? And yet when we get together, we realize and see that there are many, many, many people who are feeling the same way we do, yes, but getting together alleviates some of our own. And also, that is the whole bottom line, to your point, Elaine, of this evolution. For tens of thousands of years, we have been completely and utterly powerless,
Mhm.
and having no control over the leaders, whoever they may be, kings, emperors, popes, generals, conquerors, whatever, religious leaders of all kinds. And now we do, because of information, because of our ability to connect, because of our ability to move around. Most people didn't even have a horse, so you couldn't get to the next, village or whatever to be able to talk to them except on once a year. Now we can. With social media, you can make sure that what you know is known. That great, they've removed public service announcements, but the more you know, remember that? Did everybody say the more you know? Well, the more you know.
Yes.
And the more we stay connected. So whether it's physically, whether it's on social media, whether it's in groups like this, there are constantly, Eileen, I think you were talking about a group last night on Zoom that were in movement of some sort. Did you happen to go on that Zoom last night or no?
I did, yes.
Okay. And what were they bringing forward?
It was pretty much all about ICE and the killings, and
Okay.
that was
I,
the topic.
okay. I've been connected to another group called Mayday, and they are actually very much more linked into unions and different groups that are doing a lot of the programs, the forward thinking programs. The federal programs are being removed, so different states are now picking it up. Um, so, and this has been going on for 2 years that I know of. And this group, Mayday, they are teaching people, helping people see what programs are in their area. Yes, what unions are doing, but in preparation for the possibility of a general strike. And this has been done in many countries before. So there's already models, there's already steps of how to do this. And in those countries, South Korea being one of them, several other countries, that general strike shut everything down and changes had to be made. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them calling this general strike as yet, but it takes a lot more preparation, a lot more connection between community groups and unions, etc. So unions in that particular instance are kind of being the trailblazers and setting things up, along with very trained um, former government workers who or private nonprofit workers who have been observers and involved in other countries saving their democracies or returning to a democracy. So there's tons of knowledge there. And there are specific, this is what to look out for. These are the pillars of how we move from a democracy to an authoritarian. I mean, again, this was a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now that I was in with this group, and that one's called Mayday.
Mayday.
So, yes, and I get emails from them. So, again, if anyone wants any of this information, who's either here tonight or listening at a later point, please uh, message me on Facebook or Instagram or shoot me an email, and I will try to send you the links of as many different sources that I know of. So, and I think that's another very, very key point is that we keep wide our sources because that's one of the things that is that was always the means. You control the source of information. Again, through thousands of years, that was very, very easy to do. Now it's harder, but there are only a few channels that groups of people that continue to turn a blind eye are listening to. And so the information is one source, or even opinion groups or Pete talking heads, as I call them, with opinions, is to actually find true sources and pass that information as much as possible.
Yes.
And for us to receive that varied source and perspectives of information. That's one of the things that's always emphasized in my, when I'm working with a group, is each person is so unique, and your experience and your perspective and what you bring is so very, very, very needed, vital, significant, purposeful. So remember that. Okay. So with that being said, that's kind of what's in and behind and under not only all of the work that I do personally and professionally, but also the factors and the influences and the energetics, because each of those things that I mentioned, each of the things that we're experiencing are forms of energetics. So those are in this container because you cannot have any solution, resolution, progress, transmutation, evolution without everything in the mix. Okay. So when I'm working, it's always going to be, we're bringing in all the icky and all of the painful and all of the destructive, as well as all of the wonderful progress and positivity. And not positivity because in the way that it's referred to, but insofar as some of the things I've named of how people are communing together and making a difference, whether it's in their own way. There's a crochet committee or there's a sewing committee, and if that's what you do, they sew blankets and crochet or whatever blankets. And again, for the people that are in these concentration camps or for the family members that are in need, the little babies, et cetera, et cetera. So anything that you're good at or that you like to do, there's gardening, there's communal gardening, there's so many ways. So please let everyone know that this is what's going on so they can start looking and turning towards the creation of what they want the world to be. Right?
Yes.
So all of that is in the mix. We have this week, the ones that I'm going to put in, and I'm going to invite each of you to put in one or two aspects or uh, how do I want to put this? Attempts at destruction or going backwards or eliminating freedom or oppressing people, any of the ways, just name a couple of them. When I'm in a minute, I'm going to ask you for that. And also in mind a couple of names of people, or they can be people or people in the public that you'd like to bring this energetic support to and backing and life force and vitality and energy. Because a lot of people that are trying to do things are under the same power of too muchness as well. So there's that. But yes, I think for me the things that are most upsetting and struck me are the selling off and the destruction of public lands, particularly those in the
Yeah.
Southwest.
All over the data centers. Yeah.
Right. So that might be, but I'm just saying for me,
Yes.
this decision and executive order or however it was done to literally hand over the
Yeah.
rights to our public land. That's the most scary to me and the most upsetting to me because once the land is gone, it's gone.
Hmm. And it sets a precedent for other public lands. Yes.
They already have been, but it's very you know, I'm a professional earth keeper as well for 20 something years at this point. And there is a way in which to work the land. And I have gone with colleagues to many locations and we have worked with the land. That doesn't mean fixing, it doesn't mean going in and we're deciding what goes on, but literally communicating and working with the land and what it needs, what it wants. In many instances, when the land was ripped away from, or the Native American tribes that were overseers and caretakers on a spiritual and energetic basis, as well as a physical basis of different regions in the Southwest,
Oh,
the
yeah.
land died, or many of the beings and that are involved in um, land and landscape and how to create it. There are, without going too far into it, there are stone beings, there are tree beings, there are forest beings, and all of these non-physical beings work with either the indigenous peoples or, as we did for, again, tens of thousands of years, origin cultures. Every single culture on this planet had that recognition and had those ceremonies and those processes and the acknowledgement and the recognition that land, trees, animals are alive. They not only alive, but they are sentient, and that they are to be interacted with. The elements, everything. And so we've been cut off from that in our society for the most part. And that is one of the purposes of the destruction of land,
Mm,
forests, water,
yeah.
oceans, etc. Because that relationship gets too far apart, too distant, or too broken. And humanity does not have the physical, emotional, energetic, and spiritual connections that we were designed to have.
Mhm.
And then we do become zombies and used or able to be, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it's a very purposeful thing as well. So the taking of the sacred lands is not just for profit, but behind and under that, there is a deeper, stronger, more destructive purpose.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's really, really, really important.
Mhm.
Okay, that we keep connecting to the land and to nature and to talk
Yeah.
to these beings, and to bring them forward, because each of us have these connections from long, long ago. They're in us, they're in our blood, they're in our cells, they're in our being. And
Yes.
as we reconnect with ourselves and with different land locations, gardens, animals, etc., then we are keeping that alive. And it's feeding us because literally, physically, we need. So that was one thing that really got to me this week, the danger of the speed at which it's moving. And the other was this solar mirror that's going in place, and the massive, I can't even remember how many hundreds or thousands of satellites that were approved to be put into the sky. And that, between that, I mean, all of the astronomy groups are just fit to be tied. They don't know what to do because it is literally going to stop the information coming in, and we are going to lose our night sky.
Yeah, my.
So that's another thing I've been watching for many, many years, is the disappearance of dark sky. There's only a few locations that one can go to in our country, and there's literally tours. I think they're called dark sky tours, where you can go and they take you out at night, and it's one of the few places that you can still be able to see the stars, and some nights even the Milky Way, etc. So,
Wow.
and again, that connection, we have always had connection to the cosmos. So that the cosmos and many of the constellations and the everything from asteroids to, quasars, etc., have been coming in for the past few weeks because this is going on. So they're coming forward to be able to help us and work with us. And the third thing that really knocked me, I knew about this months ago, but somehow I was hoping and praying that it did not take place. But CERN was shut down, CERN. And that's the large super collider in Europe. And the one here in the United States has already been shut down last year. And those super colliders are studying things at the particle level which reflects on the larger scale. That's the super microcosm of the macrocosm.
Mm,
And the advancements that we've made that are not even in regard to the colliding of the particles, but all of the offshoots of science that have come from that over the years are massive. And it's been shut down for 4 years.
wow.
And then the one here in the United States was shut down last year, and I don't know for how long.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of you have heard of the Higgs particle, Higgs particle. It's also referred to as the God particle
Mm,
because of the way it behaves and interacts. And it is literally in physics and quantum physics, it is a creative. I mean, it literally can become anything. So it ties all of the particles in the universe together,
wow.
the Higgs boson field. So oftentimes, strangely enough, the particle is referred to as the God particle because it can be created into anything else. So this science is proving we, with our consciousness, with our wishes, with our desires, our minds, we create this reality. So we're seeing all of this destruction and all of this horror. And this is why I teach means of being able to not just send it love and, kind of make it nice, but instead, what do you want to see instead? So that's the
Mm,
third thing I'm going to invite is, what do you see coming from this? Now, in the instance of the super collider, they're shutting it down apparently to be able to have magnets. It's based on magnets and magnetism. So to have that, like, the power of the new magnets that are going in is many, 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 many times more than what is there now. What will come of that? I don't know. There's something wondrous that will come of that because magnets and magnetism is such a powerful, free source of energy and source for many, many, many things. I foresee and have for many years, our cars are going to be magnets. Our, energy, there's so much that is going to be based in magnets. And also, space travel. There was already in Mexico 3 or 4 years ago was a group of scientists and they were creating a way to do what in Star Trek terminology is warp drive, which means going beyond the speed of light. And again,
mm,
it was based in magnets.
mm.
So there's wondrous things going on.
Uh-huh.
So this is how, we flip it. Or the fact that we pass the word about CERN and what it did, or somebody investigates, and then you realize, hey, I do create this reality. What do
Mhm.
you want to put in?
Right.
How do you want this world to be in regard to your food? How do you want it to be in regard to raising of animals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, when anything horrible. I did this all throughout COVID. When anything horrible would come up, there would be another answer. The opposite would be the result. Just like, again, this emphasis on oil and gas and LNG is making so many countries and so many people go in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I'm inviting each of you when I call on you to put in, like I said, a couple of names of people, what it is that is really striking you this week, one or two specific things, and something either that you've heard that is more forward movement or evolving, or how you wish it to be. And I'm going to ask us to be brief. And unfortunately, I apologize, but we started a little bit late and we're moving towards 9 o'clock. Is anyone need to leave at 9 o'clock, or are you able to stay a little bit longer for the energetic
Mhm. I could stay.
I'm good.
transmission?
I can stay a little
Okay.
longer.
Okay. All right, sweetie. So that was a lot. And so I'm going to invite you to just really find your bottoms. And if you know where your sits bones are, I'd invite you to find your sits bones. Those are those bones directly in each of your buttocks. And more often than not, we kind of curve our sacrums and disconnect by just kind of a little pelvic tilt. So I'm going to invite you to bring that tilt back if you can and sit really on your butt bones. And I'm also going to invite you, if you're practice meditators, to not close your eyes. So we're going to be dropping in very deeply energetically, but I invite you to leave your eyes soft and maybe slightly, open in a downward position, but to not close, because when we close, we kind of go out that way. And I'm inviting everyone to be in you. You feel what we're talking about. I want you to have the opportunity to feel the energetics also, and to feel not only the people here present, but all of those who maybe wanted to and couldn't get here or will be listening at a later point. All of them are involved because there is no time, linear time, when we're talking about energy. So this container has been being built for several days, and I'm going to name some of the key factors. You can not visualize, but you can understand this as a geometric configuration, like a geodesic dome, so to speak. And all of the different points and lines are made up of these different energetic factors and beings. And it is created in such a way so that you are in your exact right location within that sacred geometric configuration that is optimal for you, your body, your mind, your energy field, and your spirit or soul. And it's been created and made up already of the elements: land, air, fire, and water. Also participating have been the directions: the direction of the east, which brings in illumination; the direction of the west, that invites introspection. And in the east, we have the magnificent representation of that energy through the animal teacher of Eagle. And in the west, that introspection is very much represented and taught by the bear. And in the south, we have Sister Otter and Sister Porcupine, representing wide-eyed wonder and innocence and playfulness. So as I name these energetics, I really invite you to ask and allow your body, your energy field, your wider self, which is your soul self, your emotional body, and all of your guides and teachers and masters that are pertinent to you at this point in time and for this particular moment in time, this particular gathering. It's kind of like a huge, you know, stadium, this geometric configuration. So little by little, all of these participants are joining, and they all are finding their exact place, not only for you, not only for each of them, but in relation to all of the other guides and teachers and masters that are present here of each one of you, and those that are here working with us this evening. For just like at the UN, each one has to build a line of communication and means of working with one another, because one person's group of guides, teachers, and masters are not necessarily of the same ways and energetic or source as another's. So I'm going to let them assemble for a minute, and we're going to then call in the other directions. I'm going to. We have the east, we have the west, we have the south, and we have the north, which brings in the energy of wisdom, patience, prayerfulness, held for us by Lady White Buffalo. And in the above, we have the configurations, some of which I mentioned earlier. The stars and planets and constellations that humans have been looking to and learning from and including in their daily life since the beginning. In our very solar system, the sun and the moon, Venus and Mars, Saturn and Jupiter, Mercury, and in my experience, Pluto is still a planet within our solar system. So he's always included. We have quasars and pulsars and nebula. And all of the gods and mythological figures and legendary figures that make up each one of the constellations. And I invite you to really allow yourself to feel, not see, not think about what I've named, but instead to simply sensate your own body, your own energy field, your own innate connection to your soul, and all of your many helpers that come and go. Some have been constant throughout your life, But just as in dimension, we have people that come and teach us and help us and do for us, and then they leave. And everyone is assembling, finding their exact right location, their exact right position in relation to. Begin, just allow yourself to feel yourself maybe sitting more deeply, more heavy on the chair, the floor, or the couch, whatever you may be sitting on. And I'm also going to invite in the direction of below, which is under the Earth's surface, within the Earth, all the way to the very core of the Earth. And the many, many, many beings and cultures within the Earth that continue to keep this ball rolling. Another aspect that has been always present throughout the past couple of years is the new way of the universe. With the new way of law, spiritual law, natural laws. More recently, the new way of matter. Which is allowing for the creation of this new earth in lightning fast time, which is allowing for what has been previously called miracles or automatic healing. Things that we believed, have believed, will take years or decades or impossible even, is no longer so. It's new universe. new way of matter, new way of law. Another energetic that has been very present this week is soil itself, the minerals and metals and bacteria and fungi that are in, within, and on soil, which brings us to the very basics of our own physical makeup. So I don't know if any of you are feeling this configuration being formed and feeling yourself settle into your own seat, and your exact right position and location within this large sacred geometric container. We also have multiple trees of life holding, channeling life force itself. Another beautiful energetic are the cycles and rhythms and phases of the planet, of nature, of the atmosphere, of each of our bodies. Just about set. And I'm going to invite each of you to very softly unmute so that each of you can name two people as if you were laying those names on a central altar within this sacred geometric configuration. I'm going to name Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, Juan Sebastián Guerrero, and another young man who was fleeing ICE and was hit by a semi truck in San Augustine, Florida, who has yet to be named, which is why I'm describing him rather than putting his name in. And that is, I'm offering to this central altar within the sacred geometric configuration. And each of you, I see Bill is unmuted if you want to place a couple of names in. Um,
Uh, Gilmar Garcia and Enrique Colon Carrera.
Thank you. And after each one of us speaks, if you can put yourself back on mute, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Eileen or Elaine? Eileen, I see you going for the button.
Did that work?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. I'm going to go with the same names that you said, but I can't pronounce them. So
And it can be someone that you know personally as well, sweetie, or someone else in the public eye or what have you, if you so choose.
Well, I'll just think it in my head.
Fine, sweetie. When your voice came on, your picture went away, just so you know. Now she's back. Elaine, do you have anyone that you'd like to offer to this container and this practice? I'm sorry, you're still on mute, sweetie.
Just anyone
There you
who
go.
needs, help with health issues or anything, you mean? Oh, okay.
Anything, yes. Anyone you
Okay.
know, anyone you know in the public, any
Okay,
just
Daniel Mason, Mary Ellen Fishman, okay.
thank you.
Mhm.
Those who are being received and held within the sacredness of this container. And now I'd invite each of you to cite an issue, an aspect, location, something was that really struck you recently. As I named several already.
For me, it's just the whole Supreme Court and the legislative changes that they're making that are restrictive, and
Mm,
and and just all the stuff with ICE.
thank you, sweetie.
Mm.
I think ICE is the thing that's weighing most heavily on my mind this week. It's heartbreaking.
Anything else, sweetie?
Well, I'm just still waiting for people in politics to get some balls and do something.
Yeah,
Mm, mm.
yes. Yeah, you wonder why. Yeah. Yes. Well, I guess the issue is resolved, but it was a data center that was going to be near here, but it's resolved. It's not, it's not an issue
Mm-hmm.
anymore. So, but just the way they're, like you say, doing things. Um, and in this case, it was resolved, but it can happen again and not be resolved, to be too late,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they're doing in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
Mm-hmm.
places. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you're offering data centers.
hmm
Wonderful. Thank you. Anything else?
Um, well, not now. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because the noise pollution that
Mm-hmm.
they create, the electricity, the water, it goes on, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So data centers and all that they represent as far as the destruction to environments and to
Yes.
us humans. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Mhm. And so now I invite you to take some slow, easy, deep breaths and extend the exhale if you feel to, about twice as long as your inhale. So just breathing deeply in and exhaling. Nice, long exhale, which not only activates the vagus nerve, but it causes so many other systems, organs, tissues of the physical body to move into ease and calm and this moment in time. Just that simple act of breathing each breath clearly stating life, I choose life. I allow life. I invite life. I connect to and cooperate with, collaborate with, and commune with life. For life will go on. You, as an individuation of life, in whatever form, will go on. Whatever happens on or in or with this planet, life will go on. The universe ends. Life goes on. It is the constant. Constant and yet forever changing. Forever growing, forever becoming. And each and every one of us, all beings participating in this Earth project, in this universe, get to choose. For above all else, it is a free will universe. From that state of sovereignty and freedom, I invite each of us, if you so feel called, to name two aspects that you are designing as part of the new earth. Being, it is that all aspects of nature and the environment and earth itself is recognized and acknowledged and respected and honored. No need to do so if you're in a deep state, but if you feel called, please unmute, put into this container as well a couple of things that you are designing for the new earth.
Clean air and normal temperatures.
Mm, mm, thank you. Anyone else?
I've got this. Okay, it disappeared. Okay,
Hmm.
it was very distracting. This tube around the whole, very bright tube around the whole screen. So it
Interesting.
was just very, yes, and it's happened before.
Wow.
So never, needless to say, it distracted me. Okay,
Hmm.
um, it's gone now.
Good.
Yes, very interesting.
Hmm.
So, um, um, living in peace and harmony.
Humans or all things, or something in particular?
Um, all things, especially humans. Yes,
Thank you.
like war and all that. Yeah, right.
Hmm.
I would like to put out there that we should all live by the golden rule and do unto others, and the world would be a much better place.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
respect one another.
Hmm. Thank you. Don't know if any of you can feel the kind of alchemical mixing and blending and stirring and movement or anything like that. No need to do so, but naming those aspects of the new earth caused quite a bit of movement. And I'm noticing movement within each of us here as well. Inviting that golden rule and the peace and the cleanliness and the respect and the honoring that was named each for ourselves and all the many parts and aspects within us. For it is as and when we do so for and toward and with and in ourselves that those vibrations and frequencies are radiated and transmitted from us as we walk and breathe each day. Thus bringing them into reality and thereby changing the current reality. Allow yourself to feel that internal movement and the anchoring down within you of these factors and through you in and upon the earth. Clean, pure peace, harmony, kindness, doing unto others, respect, honor, valuing. The entire sacred geometric configuration has reconfigured itself. As I hope each of you can feel the reconfiguration taking place within you. Allow it to be done for you. Each breath, take that in deeply to you. It's moving down through your physical body into the cells, even the molecules of you. Right down to the very particles, the God particles that make up you. Know that this is not a one sip, but instead that you can come back and return, invite in this alchemical mixture within this sacred geometric container by simply saying, I call in and sit deep within. This container of my new earth. Receiving the life force, the vitality, changing, the newness, and above all, the freedom. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And as you feel ready, please move or listen to your body and what it wants to do. If your eyes want to open, that's great, but listen to your body. Taking a few moments to do that. Yeah, hopefully you have some water nearby. And when you feel ready to rejoin us so we can close our very powerful and very full container. Normally the oils masters, the plant masters have a whole message, but I'm hearing there is one oil that would be going right here on your diaphragm, that breathing mechanism that we all have to take in that life. And it happens to be an oil that is a blend. And it's named humility, but that is the definition that most people have of humility is kind of an old way of humility where, we're small and humble in comparison. Whereas for many years, I've been teaching the new way of humility is being in awe, that sensation when you're, looking at a magnificent sunset or a huge mountain or the wide open ocean or a magnificent storm where you are just in awe. So if you'd like to just put your finger on that area, that diaphragm, which is right underneath where your ribs come together, and to allow yourself to feel awe. And that particular area energetically is your sense of yourself and your place in the world and in the universe. So each one is being invited to feel the awe of you, to feel awe toward you. For the choice you made to be here at this time, participating, being a significant and purposeful part of this huge Earth evolutionary project. Yes, that is awe-inspiring. And I thank each and every one of you this evening. I hope you are able to really feel what you did this evening
Mhm.
and to realize how powerful and magnificent your feelings, your desires, your wishes create this new way of Earth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Anybody'd like to share anything, please do.
I have to feed the critters. They're waiting.
Yes. Eileen feeds many critters.
Good night, everyone. It was nice meeting you all.
Good night.
Nice meeting you too. Okay,
Good
bye-bye.
night, sweetie. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Anything, Elaine, Bill, that you'd like to add or share
Just
or
thank you for doing this.
Yes. Thank you.
my pleasure. I will be doing more and more regularly. Hmm. Good night, dear
Okay, then.
ones.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.